Hey, good morning, everybody. We are having another edition of Entrepreneurs Across America. This is Diner Discussion. We're back at the Diggs Hills Diner. Jacob Hoffman asked me, he wanted to interview me because a few months ago he interviewed me, and now we're doing a follow-up where we are as an organization, how we've progressed, how we've grown, and what the plans for the future are. So without any further ado, Mr. Instant Office himself, Jacob Hoffman. Hey, Jacob, how are you?
Good morning, thank you, Peter, as usual. Bottom line, why I wanted to speak to you is because I remember when we first did this, we had 160 plus or minus members. Today, it's up to about 435, almost 500 members. That's incredible. It's great what you put together. I need to hear you speak about where we're going. What I want to know is, what is exactly your vision for the future for entrepreneurs across America? What is your goal? And bottom line is, where do you get the enthusiasm that you do have to put together such a terrific group like this?
Well, first I want to say it's not just me. It's Dave and I, Dave Gusson and I, Dave from 516 Ads. I told you the story. He came to me with an idea, and he said, entrepreneurs across America, we're trying to reignite entrepreneurism in the United States. And by that, independently owned companies, independently minded individuals who have great ideas and want to take a shot. And, as business people, we're trying to help facilitate that. That's the goal, is to reignite entrepreneurism as a viable, as part of the vibrancy of the country. We're trying to do it that way. The vision is that we're a group of business owners who can relate to one another on a certain level. If you've ever sweat to make a payroll, if you've ever sweat to pay your quarterly taxes, and your rent, and things of that nature, while trying to sell product. If you've ever been, how do I grow my business and run my company at the same time? These are all questions. Every business owner has had this. You're the best salesman of the company, but you also have to be the chief engineer. You have to be the brain of the company. And sometimes that means you have to take a step back from sales. You have to relinquish certain responsibilities that are difficult. And it's something every entrepreneur has encompassed, has faced, and struggles with. So when you have a group of business owners in the same room, they can relate to one another. And when they hear the motivational stuff and the ideas that we put forth, they enjoy it. And you asked about the motivation.
Yeah. I want to know your enthusiasm. You're tremendous at what you do, and you feel the enthusiasm. And
when you give
and
somebody...
you keep it, and you don't stop, and that's amazing. You don't stop.
Well, one thing I've learned being a career salesperson is you have to keep pushing yourself. And the hardest thing to conquer in life is yourself. And I believe that. So it's not so much, if I want to change the world, I have to change myself. That's where I need to start. I get an innate joy when I give somebody a lead, or I connect two really smart people who can work together, and they wind up having a great relationship themselves. And I say, oh, I did that, or and when you put them in the same room and they meet one another, or you realize, a few weeks ago I was at the gym, I see a young guy I've known forever. I know him, he was in the Boy Scouts with my son.
Oh, nice.
So he told me what he wanted to do, what he majored in, and search engine optimization, multimedia marketing, and all that. Mm-hmm. I was in a conversation with somebody the other day who owns a company that does that. And I said, are you looking to hire? She said, maybe, a good, smart kid, perfect. And I said, give this guy a call.
Connecting.
And
that is the absolute bottom line. This is what you do. Connect.
I gave her his name. Now, when she's ready to make the call, I said, tell him you know me. And he'll, that's the conversation. When we have somebody who does merchant services, and we're speaking to the restaurant owner who's paying too much, and he knew he was paying a high percentage on his merchant services, and he does a big number every month in credit cards. We saved him 2%. 2% on, $75,000 a month. That's $1,500 a month.
That's amazing. And on that note, personally, to me, I believe business is fun, and the way you do it, the way you're connecting, and you're connecting two people to do something like that, and then everybody's making money on it, and everybody's getting along in it, and it works out so perfectly, that's perfect. And I would think that is the foundation of exactly what entrepreneurs across America is doing.
Well, part of these videos is the fun. You get to interview interesting people who own interesting companies and interesting ideas, and you really get to see how it works. You get to see what motivates them. I can tell you about the conversations I've had, from the guy who owns a fitness center to the guy who's one of those C-suite executives that you rent. Last week, Jim Caniglione, who founded Scoopy-Doo, which scoops dog poop from people's yards, and he's got 14 trucks.
Beautiful.
I love that. I love that was an idea. And he said he was at a party at the house. He was at a party, and the owner of the house stepped in the dog mess in her yard, and that's what gave him the idea. He said, hey, we might have something, and that's how it starts. You got a good idea. You have to be bold enough to go after it, and 14 trucks, 23 employees later, he's laughing all the way to the bank.
I love that. And again, what you're speaking of, you just said bold. I always believed in business and what you're putting together as far as entrepreneurs. You have to have confidence, you got to be bold, you have to be different, and you always have to be smart. And that's the ingredients. And going to your meetings, our meetings, that is exactly the feeling that I leave with. I feel bold. I feel thinking out of the box. I think about being different. And you put that out there.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate
you
that.
feel that. You can't make this stuff up. It's
No.
all true.
So go to EAAUSA.org, EAAUSA.org. Visit us on Facebook, Entrepreneurs Across America. And we're on LinkedIn, and watch the videos on YouTube. And if you're watching on YouTube, like us, subscribe. And we're trying to get the word out there. We're trying to build it. And the goal, the vision, the motivation, we'd like to see it go nationwide at some point, where we want to reignite entrepreneurism, the spirit of entrepreneurism, what we think made America great, and continues, or will continue to make America great. That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to do our share. So thank you, and God bless, guys.
And bottom line to all this is, we grow through sharing, and that's what these meetings are all about.
Grow through sharing, absolutely.
And thank you, Peter.
Oh, my pleasure. And thank you again for the interview, and
You're a good man.
I appreciate it. Take care, everybody.